Earlier today, I received a 4-page letter from Attorney General Barr outlining his summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report while making a few questionable legal arguments of his own. I take from this letter 3 points. First, President Trump is wrong. This report does not amount to a so-called total exoneration. Special Counsel Mueller was clear that his report, quote, does not exonerate, close quote, the president. The special counsel spent 22 months uncovering evidence of obstruction and other misconduct. Attorney General Barr, who auditioned for his role with an open memorandum suggesting that the obstruction investigation was unconscionable and that it was almost impossible for any president to commit obstruction of justice since he is the head of the executive branch, made a decision about that evidence in under 48 hours. His conclusions raise more questions than the answer, given the fact that Mueller uncovered evidence that, in his own words, does not exonerate the president. It is unconscionable that President Trump would try to spin the special counsel's findings as if his conduct was remotely acceptable. Second, given these questions, it is imperative that the Attorney General release the full report and the underlying evidence. The entire unfiltered report, as well as the evidence underlying that report, must be made available to Congress and to the American people. As much information as can be made public should be made public without delay. I intend to fight for that transparency. We will ask the Attorney General to testify before the House Judiciary Committee. We will demand the release of the full report. The American people are entitled to a full accounting of the president's misconduct referenced by the special counsel. Third, the Attorney General's comments make it clear that Congress must step in to get the truth and provide full transparency to the American people. The president has not been exonerated by the special counsel, yet the Attorney General has decided not to go further or apparently to share those findings with the public. We cannot simply rely on what may be a hasty, partisan interpretation of the facts. Earlier this month, the House passed a resolution calling for full and complete release of the special counsel's report by a vote of 420 to nothing. We now call on the Attorney General to honor that request, to release the report and the underlying evidence, and to appear before the Judiciary Committee to answer our questions without delay. That's the statement. Thank you. Take a few questions. The president's legal team is saying... I can't hear you. Sorry. The president's legal team is saying this is exoneration. And, it's going in opposite of what the special counsel is saying. What's your reaction? What does the committee plan to do kind of in response to all this? Well, as you point out, the president or his people are saying it's a total exoneration. That contradicts what the special counsel found. It's a lie about what the special counsel found, but we should not be surprised that they lie anymore. And so you mentioned on Twitter you're going to ask the Attorney General to appear before the committee. Yes. Would you be willing to use subpoena powers if necessary? Sure. I would hope that it would not be necessary to use subpoena power to get the Attorney General to appear before the committee. We also want to see the full report, and if necessary, we'll use subpoena power to get that too. Are you worried that executive privilege could be exercised at some of these unknowns in the inside of the court? Well, the president could try to exercise executive privilege, but it won't be successful. Executive privilege must be asserted by the president personally, and as the Nixon case in front of the Supreme Court, which was decided 9-0, pointed out, executive privilege cannot be used to shield or hide wrongdoing. In the case of Nixon, the tapes of his personal conversations with people were ordered revealed by the court, and so I don't think that executive privilege will be a very successful defense here. Can you talk to the other side of your colleague? Okay, other questions. There's other questions. ABC News. The Speaker and Leader Schumer are tonight questioning what they say is the Attorney General's bias. Is that fair, and do you have confidence in the Attorney General? Well, it is fair. and in fact, I questioned it. If you listen to what I said, he auditioned for his job by writing a 19-page memorandum giving a very extreme view of obstruction of justice and of presidential power, and saying basically that no president could really commit obstruction of justice. And given the fact that the special counsel found ample evidence of obstruction so as not to be able to say that they're not guilty of obstruction, so he said we're not exonerating the president, after 22 months, for the Attorney General reviewing that record in 22 hours is a bit much. I would, in fact, wonder if the Attorney General pressured the special counsel into not making that finding so that he could make the finding. I'm not aware of any other case where an Attorney General made the decision on a prosecution or non-prosecution for obstruction of justice.
When do you plan to briefed on the conclusions that he found beyond what's in the summary?
No, all we have is the letter.
And what does it give you any concern now in terms of where the parties should move forward? Do you think that will you move forward with impeachment proceedings? We're
going to move forward. We're going to move forward with our investigations of obstruction of justice, abuses of power, corruption, to defend the rule of law, which is our job. It's a broader mandate than the special prosecutor had. His mandate is only for crimes. We're going to press forward with that, and as part of that, we're going to press forward with getting the entire report and the underlying evidence so that we don't have to recreate it.
One last question.
Mr. Chairman, when do you plan to bring
One last question. Somebody else. Question over there. Last question.
So the report found that he's not fully exonerated, but what does that mean? What's the next step if he's not exonerated?
It meant that the special prosecutor said that there was a lot of evidence which would lead one to think he should be indicted, and evidence to the contrary, and that he didn't make that decision. Now, it's, as far as I know, unprecedented for a special prosecutor not to make that decision one way or the other, and certainly unprecedented for an attorney general to arrogate to himself that decision, and certainly unprecedented for an attorney general who campaigned for the role by saying presidents can hardly ever commit obstruction of justice.
All right, thank you very much, everybody.
You.
Okay, go.